Hey, boys, girls. These are the answers to pages 161 to 162, numbers 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, and 9. First one here. Jack has a cylindrical block that has a radius of 0.6 centimeters and is 22 centimeters long. He puts 8 such blocks together to form the composite solid shown. What's the volume of the composite solid? So the only thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find the volume of one of these cylinders and then just multiply it by 8. So formula to find the volume of a cylinder is pi r squared times height. I fill in what I know. The radius squared is 0.36 and our height is 22. I multiply this all out. I get 199. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, whoa, I didn't write the actual answer when I did that. Look at that. It's embarrassing. So look, we have 3.14 times 0.36 times 22. We get this, and from there we take that, that's the volume of one of them. We take that and we multiply that by 8, and that gives us that 199. Because again, I rounded this to the nearest tenth, so that gives 199. Sorry, I didn't write that down. All right, next one. Number 2, a trophy for a basketball tournament is made up of a miniature basketball attached to a rectangular prism. The radius of the basketball is 5 centimeters, so here's the radius of the basketball. And the prism measures 8 by 5 by 15. What's the volume of the trophy? So to find the volume of the sphere, we just do this formula, 4/3 pi r cubed. We fill in the things that we know. The radius cubed, since the radius is 5, 5 cubed is 125. I multiply my numerators together. I multiply my denominators together. And when I get these answers, I then just divide this. I do 1,570 divided by 3. I get a volume of 523.3. And that's for the basketball. Now, to find the volume of a prism, the only thing I have to do is length times width times height. So I just have to take these numbers and multiply them together. So 15 times 5 times 8 is 600. From there, obviously, to find the total volume, I just add these two numbers together, and I get a volume of 1,123 centimeters cubed. Number 3, a necklace is made up of 50 spherical beads. Each bead has a radius of 8 millimeters. What's the volume of the necklace? So let's first find let's do the volume and the surface area. Here's the formula for volume. Again, we plug in what we know. So the radius is 8. 8 times 8 times 8 is 512. When I multiply everything out, I get 6,430.72 over 3. I divide that, and I get 2,143.6. All right. Now, that's the volume of one of those beads. I have to multiply that by 50. And when I do multiply that by 50, I get 107,178.7 millimeters cubed. And to find the surface area, I do the 4 pi r squared. So 4 times 3.14 times 64. I got the 64 because the radius is 8, and 8 times 8 is 64. When I multiply that all out, I got a number. Not this number. This is the answer. I'm sorry, I didn't do that. I didn't write that down for you guys. So I would get 12.56 times 64. So that should be 803.8. So when you multiply that all out, I get 803.8. That's the surface area of one of the beads. Now I just take this and multiply it by 50, because I have 50 such beads. And I get this as an answer, 40,192 millimeters squared. Next one, at a food stand, you buy this paper cone filled with slush. What's the volume of the cone of slush? So first things first, let's find the volume of the cone itself. So here's the formula to find the volume of a cone. And remember, this is different, this formula, because it has a capital B in there. And that capital B stands for the area of the base. So the base of this cone is a circle with a radius of 4 inches. If the diameter is 8, the radius is 4. To find the area of a circle, I do pi r squared. So 3.14 times 16, because again, 4 squared is 16. And I get 50.24. So now that I have this right here, I can just plug that into my formula. So I have 1/3 times 50.24 times 10.8. And that 10.8 is the height. So I take all these, I really do 50.24 times 10.8, multiply them together, and then divide by 3. It gives me 180.9. And then for the hemisphere, I have two options for the hemisphere. Here's the formula to find the volume of a sphere. I can do that, and then when I get my answer, I can cut it in half, because again, a hemisphere is half of a sphere. Or I can just take this 4 and cut it in half and make 2/3 pi r cubed as the formula. So let's do that. So we have 2/3 times pi, and the radius cubed would be 64. The radius is 4. 4 times 4 times 4 is 64. When I multiply everything out, I get 401.92 over 3. I divide that, and I get 134.0. So if I round it to the nearest tenth there. So to find the total volume, obviously I just add these two numbers together. I get 314.9. Some people think we'll probably get, I think the book says 314.8, just because they might not have rounded either one of these numbers before they got their answer, because I rounded both of them up. So anyway, so if you got 314.8.9, all good. You know what you're doing. Next one, we have a wooden paper towel holder. Now this is made out of two separate cylinders. We have a kind of a long one and a short one. So let's take care of the long one first. Now, the height of this whole contraption here is 30 centimeters. That means the height of this tall cylinder here is actually only 28, because the stand here is 2 centimeters. So of this long one right here, the radius is 1.5 and the height is 28. So let's go to the formula to find the volume of a cylinder, which is pi r squared times height, 3.14. Radius squared is 2.25, and the height is 28. I multiply that all out, I get 197.82. Now, to do the smaller one, I have a radius of 6 for this one, and a height of 2. So I fill it into the formula. 3.14 times the radius squared would be 36 times the height of 2, and I wind up with 226.08. Now, of course, to find the total volume, I take these two numbers and I add them together. I get 423.9 centimeters cubed. Next one. So the edge of the base of a square pyramid is 11 inches. The pyramid has a height of 14 inches. What's the volume of the composite solid form when two such pyramids are joined at the base as shown in the diagram? So, the formula, so let's just take care of one pyramid first. So the volume equals 1/3 area of the base times height. That's the formula for a pyramid. Now again, this area of the base, we have to do a side problem over here. Now if I looked at this, it says it's a square pyramid, right? So that means an edge of the square is 11. That means, well, since it's a square, all the edges are 11. So to find the area of the square base, I'm just going to do 11 times 11, which is 121. I plug that 121 into the formula. I do 121 times 14, divide that by 3, and I get 564.7. However, since I have two of them, I have this. So again, they're two identical. When two such pyramids, so the two identical pyramids are joined together. So I take this number and multiply it by 2. I get 1,129.3 inches cubed. All right. Last one here. So we have this long pole that's made by joining these other three poles together. We got to find the volume. We got to find the surface area. So to find the volume, its volume equals pi r squared times height. The height is going to be 33 because I just add these numbers together. And it says the diameter is 18, so that means the radius is 9. So we have 3.14, the radius is 9, so the radius squared is 81 times the height. Multiply everything together, I get 8,393.2 centimeters cubed. And then for the surface area, this is the long formula here. It's 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi r h. So we fill in all the things that we know. This is pretty straightforward. The radius squared, again, is 81. We're filling in the radius, we're filling in the height, and pi. We go ahead and multiply these sides together. I get 508.68. Then let's multiply these sides together, and I get 1,865.16. And then, of course, to find the total surface area, I just add them together. Because again, this number here represents the area of the two circular bases. And this number over here represents the curved surface, the lateral surface. And that's it. So if you guys have any questions, please send me an email. We're gonna have a little test on Friday, so I'm gonna go ahead and have a Zoom class with you guys before then, so you guys can email me or ask me any questions through Zoom, anything you don't understand from this. That's it.